Welcome to the GWA podcast here on Grow With Angie. If you are new to the channel, I'm Angie. So welcome to the live broadcast. I am going to be doing some Q&A today. I have a Facebook group called Grow with Angie, and there is a link to that group down in the comments below. Please feel free to join the group if you're interested in gardening, chickens, homesteading, whatever it might be. We are all together there on the group, and that is where some of these questions are coming from. And so I want to go through some of the questions, and I'm going to be giving a few shout outs to people who asked the questions in the Grow with Angie Facebook group. So I'm going to be doing that. Tech for your needs. Hello, welcome. I'm so glad you could join. You're so awesome. I am going to try and get through the questions and hopefully not ramble. But please, if you have more questions, you can go ahead and post them in the comments on this video. And if you're watching the playback, you can also post questions and I will answer them just in a comment back to you as quickly as I can. So without further ado, we're going to dive right in because I got some really great questions from some of the Facebook group. So thank you, thank you, thank you. We're going to start out with a gentleman. His name is Todd. And he asked, what is my favorite way to do composting? Now, this is a really hard one because I don't know if there is a good way to say favorite, like it's my favorite way, but there are two different ways that we do composting. Now, in the winter months, we can't compost outside because I live in northern Michigan and we're covered in snow. So during the summer, during the winter months, we actually compost inside and we use an Uncle Jim's Worm Factory composting bin. You can get these bins from different name brands, different companies, different styles. We've actually had the Uncle Jim's Worm Factory for probably 5 or 6 years now and have used it for a long time. It holds up. It's very, very, very sturdy. And they also sell all of your supplies. So if for some reason you kill all your worms, which can be done if you're not feeding them properly, or they get hungry and they will escape. So know that if you're in your house. If you need more worms, you can also order worms from Uncle Jim's Worm Factory and he will send them as live bait and they will come in a big bag with kind of the composting mulch in there already for you to add to the bin. So inside all winter long and during the summer, actually, just to keep the worms alive, we take all of our kitchen scraps, everything that I do from my hydroponics. So if it's dead leaves, that's kind of the greens that they get. All of our cut ups of our food goes in there as well. Just do not feed them anything that is meat. So you don't want to put like an end part of a steak or some fat from your pork chop or anything like that in there. It will get very, very stinky. It will rot, and they actually don't like eating that. They're going to want more of your garden type things, your fruits and your vegetables and those types of scraps. If you have bread that is going bad and gets really hard and crunchy, you can throw pieces of bread in there. We also layer it with newspaper. And they really, really like any kind of paper source or cardboard. You can kind of do that. I add all of our toilet paper rolls and our paper towel rolls. And so it's a really good way to get rid of your trash and just kind of have them eat it and then poop it out and make it into your worm composting or your black soil. And then their actual poop, I guess, is another section in those layers, and you can mix it with water, and that's making a compost tea, and then you can feed it to your houseplants or your garden plants. So in the winter, I compost with a bin, and we have it in our mudroom of our house. During the summer months, hello, Michael. I'm glad you are here as well. Thank you for joining. In the summer months, we actually have a compost pile outside. Now, I've seen a lot of people that get hung up on having three sides and an open side that they can pitchfork it and do all of these things. We do not do that. I don't worry about if the critters are going to get in there, if raccoons are digging in it in the middle of the night. It doesn't bother me. So we take again a lot of our food scraps and we throw it just into a big, huge mound or pile into the edge. It's right at the edge of the woods, at the edge of the property line. Also, all of our chicken poo that we scrape the poop deck with, all of that goes out. The chicken pine, that is a wood process or a wood product that is going to break down, and that goes in it. So, in the summer, we really compost more outside, grass clippings, that type of thing. And then that goes back into our garden. So, we can pitch it, fork it, turn it over. Last year, I had been throwing at the end of the season, well, it would have been the year before. I was throwing old pumpkins that didn't harvest and they kind of rotted in watermelon. And last year, my entire compost pile was covered with pumpkins. And I think I put 3 rotten pumpkins in there, and we ended up with 24 pumpkins from throwing it onto the compost pile. So we also do have tomato plants that grow up in there. So just be aware that if you are throwing in things with seeds, those seeds will germinate. And so that's one reason why you want to keep turning it. But we left it last year because I thought the pumpkin thing was really cool. So those are my two ways. And I don't know if I would say one is a more favorite of the other, but definitely the indoor worm composting bin and then the outside just pile. I did put a link to the Uncle Jim's Worm Factory down in the description of the video. You can actually get it from Uncle Jim's Worm Farms, and he ships, and he's really great. I love their customer service. They are an affiliate program with us, and you can also purchase them on Amazon. I don't know, what the time or shipping or how Amazon works with Uncle Jim's, but I prefer just to order directly from him with that particular product. Okay, so this actually next question is for Michael, he's here. So this is really good. He had asked how the new chickens are getting along in the coop, and I love this question. I am going to be posting more YouTube shorts, being encouraged by my fellow YouTube people to do more shorts, and those shorts are going to be designated only to the chickens. So that's how I'm going to integrate chickens onto the channel. But the babies are not so baby anymore. They are at this stage, I would say probably preteen, almost teenager. So that's when they're kind of in this gawky body style, and they're not quite the same size as the older hens from last year. We did end up getting rid of or dispatching or culling the 4-year-old chickens. And one reason why we do that is because they stop laying. They're very sporadic in their laying. They start getting very crabby. They don't like the other chickens. It gets very drama. The younger ones get picked on. There's a lot of fighting. It's just really bad. They start getting sick. We started getting eggs that were actually bad. And we do give them away to family and friends. And so there have been eggs that were rotten. And we know the shell and the type of eggs were coming from those older girls. So now what we have is the girls from last year. So they're just a year old. And then the ones that we picked up this spring. The ones that we picked up this spring are not quite the same body size as the ones from last year. So they have been moved out from the inside of the shed. They are outside in the coop, and there is a chicken wire fencing that cuts the run, I guess the outside run, it cuts it in half. So the preteens are on one half of it, and the last year girls are on the other half of it. And that way they can see each other and they can start getting along, which they may or may not be. They are kind of pecking at each other through the fence. So that is definitely why the fence is there. And once their body sizes become significantly the same, they do not know how old the other chickens are. So it's not like your chickens are running around and saying, "Hey, when's your birthday? How old are you?" They don't know. So as long as their body sizes are the same and the younger ones can actually stick up for themselves and defend themselves, because they will find a pecking order. Once you introduce them in, they have to figure out who's on top and who's on bottom. And so they'll go through a pecking order, and that's horrible. As a chicken mom, I hate it. I go out there and they're beating up on each other and it's terrible. But for right now, they are doing very, very well. So we're excited. I do have to run out there every night because I am the obsessed chicken mama. And the ones that are outside in the actual outdoor run are sleeping outdoors too. I'm not letting them inside to roost with the big girls. They have a big roosting post. It's totally covered. They stay dry. There's no rain. It's great. And I have to assist them, a few of them, freak out at night and don't know if they should go up and roost or not. So there's one or two running around crying like little babies, and it breaks my heart. So I watch them on the chicken camera, and as soon as they need mama's help, I go out there, pick them up, plop them on the roosting post. So they are doing very well. So thank you for that question. The next question comes from Angie, and it's not me, Angie. I swear it's Angie F. I promised I would not use people's last names without their permission. So it's first name basis. So this Angie says, what is my favorite thing to grow outside? So I really liked this question because a lot of you guys follow me because of the hydroponics, but I do outside gardening, and we're getting into the whole cattle panel, trellises and all that. So this is just very, very awesome. I'm excited about this new project. I can't wait to bring new videos as these things grow. So right now, my favorite thing to grow outside actually would probably be the cucumbers. We had such an amazing year last year with cucumbers, and then we turned around and pickled them. So we grow some of the straight eights, which are a little bit bigger, and then we grow other ones, which are called homemade cucumbers or homemade pickles, meaning they are shorter, stout little cucumbers. And then you can go through the whole pickling process with those. And we really like doing that. Now, last year we did sun pickles, which basically you're just boiling your ingredients, and you would either put it out in the sun for a couple of days, or if it's all boiled and you're canning it, shutting the can lids on your mason jars, you can put it in the refrigerator, but they do not last as long. We found that they were only lasting a couple of months, and we literally had like 24 jars of pickles, and we couldn't eat it fast enough. We were giving it away. It was crazy. So this year, because we did again a ton of cucumbers for those trellises, we are going to actually can them and go through the whole canning process, which my husband loves to do. He loves to can. So I'm going to kind of give that project to him as well. All right. And if you guys have any other questions, I see a whole bunch of you up there. So go ahead and pop them out, and I will interrupt and answer your question. The next question, I put several with a question mark next to it because literally several of you guys asked me this question, so I couldn't just give the credit to one person. Every single time I post pictures in the Facebook group of the iHarvest systems and what's going on with them, I get this question all the time. What do you do with all the kale? And I love this question because it's so funny to me. What do you do with all that kale? We eat it. Is that a good answer? We eat it. Okay, so we either just harvest it out and add it to our salads, because our other unit right now is all lettuces and basil and green onions. So we can make a big salad, and so we'll put it in there fresh. But the other thing we do with it, and this is why it grew so much, is we actually fry it. So we take a cast iron pan. Almost all of our cooking utensil type stuff, our pots and pans, are going to cast iron. We really like them. So we put in a cast iron a flavored oil. In Michigan, there is a company that actually has like almost like a wine tasting room. They have, I think, 4 or 5 different store locations now, and you can go in and you can almost like wine taste all of these oils and vinaigrettes. And so we get these really crazy flavored oils, and like Persian spicy type things. And so we will actually use that flavored oil, and then we will add sesame seeds and sea salt and kind of brown, get it the oil kind of going and browned up. And ooh, sorry, I'm getting all excited. My mouth is watering. And then we will put the kale into the frying pan, and you just fry it down until the edges are a little bit brown and crunchy. And you would be surprised, if you have this much kale in a frying pan, you will have this much left over. So it is like making any other collard green or spinach. It shrivels up to nothing. So that is one reason why we grow so much. And then based on that question, this goes to Helen. So this is part B of that. is she wanted to know if I planted each hole of the iHarvest or was I skipping holes? I planted every single one. So there are 30 kale plants within that iHarvest. It is jam-packed. And this is another reason, and this is kind of like a sub answer to this. I've seen a lot of people ask about mounting them to the wall. They're really nervous because it says that you should take the iHarvest and mount it to the wall. It literally is a screw. It is no different than putting something like this on the wall. It's like hanging a picture, but there's a screw and a big bracket. And I had to slide it away from the wall just to check something in the back of it one day. And I had my husband hold the whole thing together while I slid it because I was really nervous. And that thing is so top heavy. And I can tell you that if I did not have the bracket on the wall right now, that my kale would probably come tumbling down. So if you're considering one or you have one, I highly encourage you to make sure that you are mounting those to the wall. The next question comes from Audrey, and she wants to know about growing cilantro in the iHarvest and pH levels and EC levels. Now, I have grown cilantro in the iHarvest before. Currently, I have it growing in my deep water culture tubs or a DWC. And I think that the cilantro really likes it. Kind of in that environment better. I don't know why. They're by themselves. They're very, very picky. If I empty water out and fill the water back up and I add more food and I just am taking the water level too high, I can shock them. If the water temperature's off, I will shock them. I have almost lost cilantro so many times from just messing with them. And so if I'm constantly trying to balance things in the iHarvest with other lettuces or the basils or the green onions or whatever's in there, it kind of doesn't do as well. So I kind of like them separate. So if you can do them cracky or deep water culture, my pH levels are very, very low. I keep it around, I know this is going to be shocking. I keep it around 5.5 to 6.5. And I know some people go up to 6.8, but I keep that low. And then my EC levels are probably pretty normal for any herbs. I'm probably around a 2.0 to a 2.5, I guess. So it kind of goes up and down. I usually just with a deep water culture, I put all the food in and balance out the pH and I leave it. And I just leave it until there's hardly any water left. And then I can add a little bit more and just a little bit, just so I don't shock the cilantro. So good question on the cilantro. I like that. The next question these are all from the Facebook group, Grow With Angie. So again, if you guys are new here, go ahead and check the link down below. I would love you to subscribe and be tuned in to the YouTube channel for sure. This is my #1 platform, but my Facebook group is a way for you guys to see my Facebook reels throughout the week, ask questions like we're doing right now, and for me to take those questions and then say, I'm going to answer them verbally instead of just typing, because sometimes that can be hard. So the next one is from Patrice, and she wants to know what specific meters do I use or recommend for the indoor hydroponic systems? I do have links for this also down in the comments below. I tried to do this ahead of time so you guys would have these, you could follow along. I was using the meters that would come with the iHarvest system or something that I was using with my deep water culture and my cracky. I was using very, very inexpensive meters. And I am now a huge fan and a huge advocate of Blue Lab. Blue Lab is out of, I believe, New Zealand, like New Zealand. Yeah. And they are the #1 rated heavy duty meters. And shark fin, and look at this logo. We got to see a sneak peek of his logo last night. I absolutely love it. It's great. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So the Blue Lab meters actually are my favorite because they're so sturdy, and they're made for more of a commercial type hydroponic growing systems. And the one that I did the video review on, I can try and find that and put it down in the comments later. I did a video review on it's called a truncheon, and it's a really big, long meter. And I got the commercial grade, and that's going to take you up to a higher ppm or a higher EC number than just a regular standard one that's for kind of, you're just doing a couple deep water cultures. But I love them. They're heavy duty. You can use them as stir sticks. And the Blue Lab actually does have a pH meter, and I am going to be purchasing that. But I just spent, side note, a ton of money yesterday because I bought not new microphone like this, but I bought new microphones or lapel microphones for when I'm recording my videos because I always want to bring you guys the best that I possibly can. So I am upgrading my sound. So I'm going to be hopefully doing that, but I spent a ton on that. So I'm waiting just a little bit before I dive in with the pH meter for Blue Lab. But I do want to mention that they are very expensive. It is not going to be like your $10 or $15 EC or pH meters that you could just pick up on Amazon. Blue Lab is top of the line. You're talking $100 to $150 for the EC meter, and just the pH meter alone is like another 80. So just keep that in mind, but they will last forever. They float in water. They're basically indestructible. They're awesome. All right. Next question. Marika. Marika is also from the Facebook group. These are all from the Facebook group. I didn't pull anything from Instagram this time. These are all from Facebook, either just in the comments that I had asked if you have a question, or if people were posting questions, or direct messages, because you guys still direct message me. So thank you. Thank you very much. So Marika wants to know, what color, this was actually funny because this is right before I did my video. What color did you end up choosing for your green stock and why? So the green stock is the last video I believe that I have up right now. And that is an outdoor tower garden because you know I love my tower gardens. So this is another vertical tower garden. I'm doing everything vertical now. I've got the iHarvest is vertical. I've got the green stock is vertical. We're doing the cattle panel trellises. Those are all vertical. Yes, it is awesome. So the green stock is vertical, but it is a soil-based or a potting mix. If you put soil in it, it's going to get really, really heavy and drowned out. So make sure you're using potting mix. But the question was the colors. So the green stock actually comes in, I have this written down to make sure I don't mess it up. Terracotta, the dark green, the hunter green, and then a stone, which is like an off-white or a beigey color. I personally went with the dark green, which you can see in that video that I did, the video review of unboxing, assembling it, and setting it up. And as an update, all of the seeds that I planted for the beets are actually coming in. I noticed that yesterday. They are all starting to pop up. The what else did I put in there? Oh, the shoot. Now I just had like a total the onions, but it's not the chives. Oh my gosh. Okay. So I put chives in, and the chives are barely, barely starting to break ground, I guess you'd say. And the strawberries at the top, they're all flowering. So I'm really excited. But I wanted the green stalk to be dark green because my woods are all green and it just kind of blends in on the deck, and then all the plants kind of blend in. I didn't want a bright color to kind of like stand out on my deck because it's so, my deck is all my flowers, and that's kind of like my peaceful sit there in the morning with my coffee and it's just flowers. So I didn't want it to stand out and be like this big obvious thing. So that might be something to take in consideration if you want one, is, if you want it to be the centerpiece in this color thing, or if you just want it to blend in. So mine is green. Check out that video. The next question comes from Lucy, and she asked, when I was talking about the cattle panels, about growing tomatoes and how I was going to do tomatoes with the cattle panels. And in the video that I showed of how we kind of installed these, we did cut some of the big arches. Oh, see, I get excited. So the really big arches that we did is one large cattle panel. But if you cut that in half, then you have two cattle panels and you can just keep them flat. So they are flat in the garden with property stakes, and the tomatoes actually are in front of those. So that's kind of like their stability. And we have planted and planted and planted and planted in shark fin. I know he was just gardening and just like, it's so much work, right? And I had to kind of go around, and I was trying to think, like, should I count this? Because it's really crazy. I think I counted 34. I think we have 34 tomato plants. So it's a different variety of tomatoes. And then, oh my gosh, everything from squash to zucchini to the cucumbers to pole beans, sugar snap peas, pumpkins, watermelon. The list goes on and on and on and on and on. But I'm excited. I can't wait to show all that to you. So, yes, Lucy, question. We did cut some of the kale panels in half for the tomato plants. Pauline asked, what type of grow lights do I use? And I think this is a really cool question. So thank you, Pauline, for this question. The grow lights I started when I bought the iHarvest initially, and then I obviously bought a second one. Yes, I paid for them myself. They were not sent to me for free, even though I'm an affiliate with them. And I love, love, love. You guys know how much I love these systems. The grow lights that come with the iHarvest are LED. They are a very, very low LED. I mean, high output, but electric wise, I believe both bars together equal like 160-watt light bulb. I think they're around 34 watts per bar. So just over a 60-watt light bulb. So power energy wise, they're great. You want to do LEDs if you can. So that's what's with the iHarvest is the ones that come with it. Now, on my deep water culture tubs, I actually had bought a Seedling Starter Kit, and that kit has the dome and has a light. I think it's called Sunbeam, is the name of that light. That one is actually a fluorescent, and I've had it for years. It has never burnt out, so I keep using it. It's very, very bright, but I just want you to know fluorescent lights are going to take more energy than your LEDs. It is like a big, huge garage fluorescent warehouse type lights. And so you're going to pull a lot more energy. But mine is just one little short one. So don't worry about it too much. Then I just got another one, which I will be doing a review on soon. It is on my list. It is a clip that you can clip on anything onto a deep water culture, onto the side of something, whatever. It's got a clamp. It's really cool. And then it has these two bendy, like long bars, and those are LED, but they are a different spectrum of LED, and I'm just trying them to see how they work. They have kind of like a red, the blues, and the whites kind of all combined together. And I have those right now over top of garden peppers. And the only thing I'm seeing is that my garden peppers are not quite as bright green. So I'm not 100% sure if it's the lights. I may switch out the lights just to see if I can get them to green up, and then I can 100% give you a review if those lights are good. So sometimes when I'm getting products like that with grow lights or different types of gardening things, I'm testing it, right? So, I might have it for a while before I actually can get the review up because I want to test it and I want to see if it's going to be something that I can recommend. And either I'm going to recommend it or I'm going to say, hey, this is the review. And some of my videos, I'll say green thumbs up or brown thumbs down. That's kind of how my rating is. And yeah, so I will let you know on that. But the grow lights on the iHarvest are LED. If you guys have any questions, I see all of you here. Thank you for being here. Please ask. You can interrupt me. I'm just going through some of the questions that I had on Facebook. I have one more, and then I'm going to discuss a few things that are going to be upcoming for the channel and let you guys in on some stuff I'm excited about. So the next question, I'm going to laugh at this name, but if you see their profile picture on Facebook, I might have to explain the profile picture to get their name, but I want to give them a shout out and credit. So their Facebook name is Crackpot. And it's a crack pot, but it's an actual like a terracotta pot that is cracked in half. So it is a gardening person that follows me, Crackpot. So thank you for this question. They wanted to know if I'm trimming the roots. This goes back to the kale. See, I get asked all the time about my kale. Do you trim the roots of your kale? And does it impede on the water flow in the iHarvest? So the kale, I do not trim the roots. And I'm not saying if that's good or bad. A lot of the other things I actually do trim. I trim quite often. But with the kale, I don't, because the plants are so big right now. I'm really worried about pulling them out. There is something with the kale, the way that the stalk comes out. It's it's really solid, but the actual kale branches can snap really easily. So even if I'm sticking my hand in there and I'm trying to pull out maybe some bad leaves that aren't getting some sun, so they didn't get the photosynthesis to turn green and they're yellow and they're in the back, I'll reach in there and I'll start pulling them out, but then I might break some. And then those end up dying, and I'm reaching in and doing the whole process over. So for the kale, I really don't mess with it. The other ones, yes, I pull out. My green onions are huge right now, and I have to pull them out because the roots will go all the way down. And any hydroponic system you're using, if your roots get too big and you have any kind of filtration system, or if you have, like in the arrow garden, there is a little mesh filter and this whole bubbling system. If your roots get twisted up in that, then it can be a mess. But this particular grow with the kale, I have not, because the system is so full. I honestly don't know how to get them out, and I don't want to mess with them. Hi, Anthony. Thank you. Yes, hit the like button. And if you are new here, hit the subscribe, look at subscribe. And I want to give a shout out real quick, talk about the subscribe pillow. All of my YouTube friends and family love my pillow. We have our funny jokes, reasons why. But this guy right here, this little chicken, I want to point out this chicken. I did a Facebook reel on this. My sister, who I call my nifty sissy, actually crocheted that, and she stuck it in the mail and mailed it to me, and it was a total surprise. I've seen a ton of people doing these crocheted stuffed animals, and I never see chickens. And I've asked a couple other people on Instagram, do you make chickens? Do you make chickens? And they haven't. And so here is my nifty sissy who started doing these, and I mentioned a chicken, and boom, it was in the mail. And most of that was actually designed by her, because the chicken patterns, I guess, are hard to find. So shout out to my sister for my chickens. Okay, so that was all the questions. So I want to say thank you to Todd and Michael and Angie and several of you, and Helen and Audrey and Patrice and Marika, Lucy, Pauline, and Crackpot, for the questions that were selected off of the Facebook group Grow With Angie to be used in today's podcast. So I have about 15 minutes left, because I like to do about 45 minutes. If I run too long, I can bump into an hour. But I want to explain a few things of what you are going to be seeing this coming summer. One of the things that some of my little fellow YouTubers who are in here showing their support and their love, I thank you for that, have really been encouraging me to kind of start doing the shorts again on Facebook or on YouTube. Sorry, I do Facebook Reels, so that's kind of where my brain is. So what I'm going to do is I'm really going to designate the YouTube shorts to the chickens. So if you want to follow along and kind of go to the shorts, I'm going to have them all on a playlist, and that's going to kind of be a little update, like the question that I got from Michael about how the chickens were doing. So I'm going to be posting more chicken videos, and they are comedic all on their own. They do their own things. The one that I did this morning, literally one of the chickens jumped up and tried to eat the camera off of my phone, because they think everything that's in front of them is food. So I'm going to be doing the YouTube shorts. I'm going to try not to spam you guys and make too many, but they are fun. And I do want to share more of that as far as the chickens and the journey with what is going on with them. I am also making a promise to you and to myself that I'm going to start doing these live broadcasts every other week. Today is a Sunday afternoon. This is the first time I've really kind of hit this time slot. So I'm not sure if this is going to work for everyone, if you want to be here live. So please either leave a comment right now, or you can go ahead and leave a comment on the playback if you prefer, like the weekend kind of Sunday slow roll afternoon, or if you prefer a weeknight evening. I will take that into consideration of when I'm going to try and go live. But I do want to do these more. I really like the interaction. I like having the questions. So anyone who is going to watch this on the playback, because it will get posted over to Facebook, thank you to my Facebook group for submitting these questions. You guys do really great with that. And this is a good, easy way for me to answer them a little bit more clear than just trying to type stuff out, or I'm doing voice messages back and forth inside the Facebook Messenger app. And so I think this is a really cool thing to do. So I'm going to try and keep up on this. So every other week, I'm going to try and do a live. On the opposite week, every other week, I'm going to try, and I say try because if I miss one, that's my fault. But on the opposite weeks, I'm going to try and upload actual content, the long form, anywhere from 10, 15 minutes. I'm trying not to keep them at 20. So we're trying to downsize that. But we are going to continue with the indoor hydroponic systems because obviously those go 12 months out of the year. They don't come down. I don't stop during the summer. What I do and what I'm going to do when the kale starts to slow down is that unit is going to get turned into herbs. And so I'm going to have all of my herbs, and I really, really need to start getting dill. I totally mistimed this last year. And if you guys can learn anything from me, if you are doing this and you are also growing your own cucumbers, doing your own pickles, I need to get some more dill going because it was very hard to find at the grocery store last year. So thank you to all of the grocery stores that are just missing a whole bunch of stuff. But that's a whole nother rant, and we just grow it ourselves. So I am going to try and get more dill going so I can kind of hit that timeline that I will have fresh dill to then use with the cucumbers to make pickles. So as soon as the kale is done and out, that's what I'm going to be doing. But the outside gardening, I'm going to be doing more videos on that. This cattle panel trellis thing is just amazing. It is so cool, and they are permanent, unlike the straw bale gardens, which I love doing straw bale gardens, but the straw bale gardens break down. And again, when we started that, probably 6 or 7 years ago. I forget how long it's been now that we've been doing that. We were paying around $4 to $4.50 a bale. In the first year, we did 65 bales. Now, last year, I got a handful of them because they were over $7 a bale. So for us, it is not financially good to continue doing the straw bales. There are different ways that you can make your own, like compost bales, which I would like to do that. But oh, there's MK Crafts. Hi, how are you? Good. Sunday afternoons are good. I will take that into consideration. Yes, it actually did. They jump up, and sometimes I worry about that. I wonder if I actually should have another like case on it because they do that quite often. They think it's food. And then of course, whatever nails I might have on that day or colors or whatever, they want to eat my fingernails. So that's really funny too. And I used to be able to go out barefoot. The older girls from 4 or 5 years ago used to be able to go barefoot all of the time. And these new girls do not like my bare feet. It is the funniest thing. I have two that will run and attack me. And if as soon as I put on my big mucker boots and go out there, they ignore me. Hi, Kelly. Good to see you too. Kelly, is it Kelly or Wrestler Lewis? Make sure I say all that right. I love the logo, by the way. Let's give a shout out to that logo. That's a good one. So anyway, to get back on track. So one week will be the lives, the next week will be the video, including the indoor and outdoor gardens. And then I'm going to be doing the shorts on the chickens, if that makes all sense. And again, you guys can always vote on when you want these lives to go. I'm getting more people coming in now. So maybe on Sundays a little bit later than what I was doing. We'll see. We'll play around with it. So I think that is everything that I had, all of my questions. Oh, no, I don't know where that book is. I was going to show you guys a book. There is a book it's called How to Speak Chicken. And if you are a chicken person or a chicken fan, I think it's a really fun book. It's something that maybe you could purchase and give to someone as a gift. It is really eye-opening because you don't think that they have these. I mean, I know they have personalities, right? But they really do have their own speaking kind of language. Like there's different clucks, there's warning clucks, there's freaking out, I'm laying an egg, and everybody's squawking at the same time. But there's one thing in there about finding what your chicken name is. And I thought that was the silliest thing. And once I started listening to the way that they cluck when I'm walking up to the coop, it is a different like pitch or sound or something, and it is my chicken name. They are telling the other chickens that I'm coming, and I know that is just the silliest thing, but this book on how to speak chicken explains everything. Hi Ted, welcome. I'm so glad you guys are all jumping in here. You're awesome. And oh, I'm going to end on one final thing that you guys are going to start seeing kind of in the background. So I'm excited. I've had before, see, I have to point. You guys asked me about my Barbie. So this is the chicken Barbie, farm Barbie that came out a couple of years ago, and it was sold out everywhere, and I stumbled upon it in one of the local grocery stores or farm stores that we have in town, and she was super super hard to find, and the prices jacked up on eBay and actually Amazon. It was ridiculous. They were, I mean, over 100 and some dollars, and it's, you know, a $20 Barbie. So I got on Amazon today, and this is just a funny little story I want to end with. I got on Amazon today to see if she was still available because I thought, well, I'm going to let people know like where she is if they want them, because I get asked that question a lot about her. And they have a whole new Barbie. I think she's actually retired now. They have a whole new Barbie. She's a redhead and she has a whole shirt on that says something about I love my chickens. And she not only comes with one chicken, like this one just came with one chicken. It comes with a whole bunch of chickens. It comes with a little egg crate. It comes with the egg basket to collect your eggs. It comes with a whole little chicken coop and a ramp and all this. Oh my gosh, you guys, I threw that in my cart today so fast and it's already purchased. I'm telling you. You know what? Hang on a second. While I'm waiting, I'm gonna, I see. Sorry, Madam Crafts. That's fine. You're fine. I'm just kind of testing out a new time of day to do this on Sunday afternoons instead of doing it on late night evenings. So here, I want to make sure there, if you guys can see it. This is the new Barbie. Isn't she cute? And look at all of her chicken stuff. And now my camera is going to try and pick it up. But yes, so she ended up in my cart today. So she will be joining this one back here as soon as I get her. I'm so excited. You know, there's nothing like being in your 40s and being excited about buying Barbie dolls just because they have chickens with them. So I'm going to give you guys your Sunday back. I'm going to go jump outside probably with the husband. I'm really glad I'm not picking up the sound. I hope you guys are not picking up the sound, but he is outside chainsawing wood right now from some trees that we had taken down a couple years ago. They have dried out now and we need to get them out of the woods. So he's running the chainsaw, and I'm happy that I'm in my little studio downstairs and you guys can't hear that. But, you know, life is life and there are things that still happen. And when I'm recording outside, I just have to roll with it. You know, we live in the woods and airplanes fly over and chickens squawk and people run chainsaws and all kinds of crazy noises go on in the woods. And it is what it is. Ooh, now I just really picked it up, and that's really funny. I just said that. I wonder if he got closer to the house, so I don't know if you guys can pick that up or not, but I just did in my ear. So that is my time to get off. Thank you very much for coming today, you guys. I appreciate it. Any more questions that you have that you want me to do on another podcast or a live, go ahead and you can submit them here, or make sure you're going over to the Facebook group, Grow with Angie. It is a group, so search groups, and you can always post questions there or send me direct messages, and I will try and get back to you within 24 hours because I get a lot of questions and I get a lot of comments and I get a lot of chats. So love you all. Thank you for being a part of the Grow with Angie community, and we will catch you on the next episode and the next podcast of the channel. So thank you very much. Have a great Sunday.